Hello, gentlemen. I'm just pulling your leg. I don't really have I just have a dumb accent. I don't have a. I have a dumb Missouri accent, a dumb Missouri dialect. I don't have an Australian accent. I was pulling your leg. I know it's convincing, but it's actually not true. I'm sorry if that disappoints you. I figured out this vehicle is so fucking hot because it doesn't have any AC. The AC is fake. Yo, 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 yo! We got Gandalf up in here. We got Gandalf up in this bitch. Raining white beards. Raining white beards. Oh, wait, it's bald off. Wait, what is it? We got George Zimmerman and Gandalf the Wizard here. Yo. Yo, yo. I'm just like wasting time driving around. I gotta go. I picking up a four-wheeler. Picking up a Kawasaki. Boost lunch? What's a boost? What do you mean, like a can of boost? Like the old people food? Or what? Dogen-san! Dogen-san. You're exceedingly excellent in your training. We must fight without your hands, using your mind. Turbo spool? Okay, I gotta roll up this window though, or else I won't even be able to hear myself fucking think. Okay. Yeah, this bitch is hot. This is hot. I'm gonna turn it off. There we go. Alright. Initialize Doug. Your Brain on Doug's episode 2. Wait, I gotta pay attention here for a second. I gotta verify that I'm not driving head on into traffic here. Okay. I think we're good. Let's see, the car's going the other way. You know what's really weird was trying to... So, like, if you ever get stationed in Europe or some shit, or get stationed, like for the government in another country, particularly in the military, you wanna fail the driving test. Because if you don't fail the driving test, at least when you first get there to the unit, you want to fail the fucking driving test, because if you don't, like if you're like a fucking PFC in Europe and and you ace your fucking, German driving test, you're gonna be on fucking CP duty, like going around to all the clubs and shit and like rounding up rowdy soldiers. You're gonna be driving generals around while they go see hookers or whatever generals do. Probably seeing hookers. That's what you're gonna do if you ace your local national driving test. If you didn't know that, you might get to the unit and think like, oh, I'm high speed. I'm gonna be high speed and like I'm really good at everything. Sometimes you don't want to do that. Okay, pretty much all the time you never want to do that. You pretty much want to do that for yourself in your brain and then keep it a little secret for yourself. If you didn't know that. Unless that's your thing, unless that's your aspiration is to drive people around, then it would be a good choice. And we were talking about mass shootings earlier and how fishy they are. Yeah, no shit. Stand out as low and lifted. Yeah, eat shit sandwiches every day. Seriously. There's like so much shit. Like I didn't really have any I've got pretty good teeth. Or I used to. We're still good now because I've got good genes. But I'm sure I'll start losing teeth here in a year now. But I didn't really have to go to the dentist because I brush and floss like pretty thoroughly. And then I have molars, and then the army wanted to take out my molars, so they sent me when I was in Europe. I got my molars removed, and it was pretty much just me and a dude that was he was like the MD, probably not even an MD, but who the Army hires to do dental work. And then he just like, it looked like he came in on his day off. Like all the lights were off and shit in the dentist's office. And he was just kind of like hanging out in there. And then the way that he took my molars out, you know, I did get anesthesia, but you know, I was anesthetized, but he used like wedges and like pry bars and shit, and he like fucking cracked those fuckers out. And it actually wasn't that bad. I mean, it was really scary because it's like when they're doing that shit, you like feel it all the way through your jawbone, like in your skull, and you can hear like your teeth cracking and shit. And that part of it's scary, but the you know, like the lidocaine works pretty good for. I mean, you get a little bit of pain, but it's not bad. Like it'll just be like a short second, like sharp pain when the roots come out and shit, and that's about it. The next day though, it was like I got beaten, kicked in the face by a group. Like it was like I couldn't even eat, and like I tried to eat, and I like opened my mouth, and it was just like blood would just like pour out of my fucking mouth. It was crazy. I was like I used to smoke when I was in Europe as a kid, like when I was a teenager, you know, smoke cigarettes, you know, because you're like, ooh, you're in Europe and smoke, and I had to rip off all the filters on the cigarettes, so they're just all raw, so then I could not have suction, so I wouldn't get, you know, the root dry root. Yeah, that's what it's like. Like I had like, you know what I mean? Like it was pretty good the first day, and then like after that shit wore off, it was like, you know, it's pretty unbearable, and like definitely I couldn't eat. I think I could probably eat up to like, I don't know, like 2 days maybe, or a day and a half. I mean, I could drink water and shit, but I think I went to the defect and got like applesauce or something and tried to eat that, and then water. But I wasn't very hungry anyway, you know, because it's just like too much pain. And it's hard to be hungry if you're like in a lot of pain. Yeah, we were fucking a toothpaste. Yeah, you want to? Well, I mean, baking soda. You can use baking soda and water if you don't have shit. Like if you don't have nothing, and baking soda and water, and then you can. I mean, you can make toothpaste. Soap is probably honestly the better, like a more important thing to make. So I really want to do a. So all that you need for soap, you need your whatever chemical that you're going to use for saponification. So you either need like the potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide. And then once you get that, and you really got to have a recipe, unless like you've done it a shitload and you understand the ratios and shit. Like you just need to follow a recipe. But you can approximately substitute any fat and like, you know, fat or oil in there. You know what I mean? So like I always wanted to make. I want to make a I don't know, maybe like whitetail fat, and maybe some like black walnut would be that'd be like a fun soap to make. I don't know, it seems like it'd be good. It seems like it would. Just render down some whitetail fat, because there's not much to do with it anyway, you know, like most people, I mean, you render fat out of it, you know, but then what do you do with the fat, you know? I mean, you can do shit with it, but it's just another way to use it. A lot of people just throw everything away. Especially for whitetail. You shouldn't do it for whitetail. A lot of places don't have whitetail. Like when I lived in fucking Utah, holy shit. They had to get like double permits for everything, and it's mostly mule deer. So you shoot like a lot of mule deer or elk. But it's like lottery system, right? So like everybody can't bag a deer. Not like here. Like here it's like, you know, that's like a Tuesday, you know? But like in Utah it's like there's people that are like, you know, they get like fired up about it. Like they're really wanting to get a deer. They don't get a lot of opportunities, I guess. And we were talking about like the mass shootings and how fishy they are and shit. What's really weird is how all that shit started with Columbine. Like that Columbine shit was crazy, and then of course you got the assault weapon ban out of that. But You know what was really crazy was the Hollywood shootout. You guys remember that shit where the dudes were robbing they were like doing an armed robbery of Bank of America. That was in the 90s. That was like in 95 or something like that. I don't remember when it was. It was a long time ago. But it was like unheard of. Like the LAPD, they didn't have ARs. That's how different the United States used to be. Cats had they just had like modded AKs and like a modded G3, and they were just like through Los Angeles, which is like, I mean, luckily nobody got killed, so it's like hindsight 2020. Like, crazy thing about it was that it was like they didn't fucking they did wound some police officers, but they didn't even they didn't even CNS hit anybody. They fired I don't know how many rounds they fired, but it's gotta be a shitload. I mean, if you look at the footage, like the helo footage, I mean, they're just straight up and they're pretty big boys. Like you can tell from the helo footage that they're big boys, and they got a lot of mass. So they're absorbing all of these well. And even so, typically if you're like that and you're shooting full auto, and you're a thick boy, then it's you can actually kind of keep on target. You know what I mean? 'Cause it's not gonna if you get a little stick guy shooting that stuff, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just gonna walk all over the place. But if you're just hugging that nice and cozy, then you're just gonna it's like a vibrator chair or something in your shoulder, and then you're just brrr, and they're just hosing down everything, shooting into and there's really just shooting into people's houses and shit. They don't even care where their fucking bullets are going, and but they didn't kill anybody. Isn't that crazy? How it's hard to imagine with that many rounds flying around that nobody died. They got lucky, I guess. Somebody was watching out, I guess. They were they had an angel. An angel was all right, listen, LAPD, you're gonna be all fucked up in the future, so I'm gonna cash in all of your karma coupons right now, because you're not gonna be able to get them later. Yeah, the Miami shooting was crazy. Yeah, you could tell they were all amped up because it's a 5. They were pretty much. I don't know what they were thinking, but if I was in their shoes, I'd be okay, this is my last, couple of hours on planet Earth, or last half hour on planet Earth. That can amp somebody up. They were definitely running on fumes at the end. That was kind of where it was weird too, because that was that probably did more for preparatory conditioning of pre 9/11 conditioning than anything else. That was the most dramatic change, I think, other than the Hughes Amendment. But the Hughes Amendment was so niche for class 3s back then, because everybody just it was just the way that it was. Everybody could get machine guns, So then when the fucking Hughes Amendment came around, nobody cared. Yeah, they did that. Have you seen the footage from the Senate floor when they do that? When they pass Hughes Amendment, it's early as fuck in the morning. And there's a senator in there complaining about it. I can't remember which senator. There's a senator in there complaining about it, this is this is not how you run a bill, And then they retort, they're like this shouldn't be an issue. Why do we want machine guns? No, we should have machine guns. This is not a, what I mean. And there's the Senate floor. There's people there, but it's definitely not full house. Yeah, it's on YouTube. I pulled it when I first saw it. I'd never seen it. I screen recorded it, so I have the video somewhere in a hard drive. But yeah, they kind of scrabbled on it, back and forth for a little bit. It was gonna go through no matter what. But then that Cali shooting, that was what really did really did, like the assault weapons ban, like honestly, they really fucked up letting the assault weapons ban sunset, like in terms of taking guns away, you know, because like they could have been more effective back then when nobody was suspicious of anything, just like pushing that shit through again. And they really like fucked that up, you know what I mean? Because people, like, there were way more FUDs back in assault weapon ban time, I feel like, in my perception. Maybe that's incorrect. I was really young, but from my perception, like everybody was more like hands across America. We're all just getting along back in the 90s, and yeah, it's crazy. Oh shit! I just missed my fucking exit. Okay. Yeah, there were more FUDs, right? Yeah, and then all of your dudes, like all your class 3 dudes, were just like. Your SOTs were all like like totally fucking esoteric, like back in the day, you know, because there wasn't even that many machine guns back then, really. You didn't have the fucking AR explosion, you know. So all your SOTs were like they were esoteric as fuck, like knew fucking everything. Let's see, where should I turn? I'll turn around here. Yeah, the guns were cheap. I remember in 2000, like early 2000s, I bought an Egyptian Matty AK-47 for fucking $330, and I haggled with the guy for like a half hour about $40, like trying to get him down $40, and he was like, "Look, I can't get any more of these. I'm just not comfortable with it today. Maybe another day." And I was like, I don't feel like coming back. And I haggled with him about it, and was like sore leaving the gun show with an Egyptian Matty AK for $330. Yeah, no shit, right? Those are the days. Man, this truck is fucking hot. This is a Swana. Now here's what's crazy, right? A lot of people don't know this because SHOT Show didn't start getting big until post Magpul. Like post Magpul, after Magpul came out, and I'm talking about like with their first products, like the actual Magpul, you know, like the fucking little doodad that goes on the bottom of the mag, and, you know, like a little fucking, it's like a cup, it's like a crotch cup for your magazine. And like after they came out with that, and then that shit started getting big, that's when the fucking gun market started opening up. They didn't even have fucking PMags yet. The PMags came after. But like SHOT used to be like, I've heard stories from dudes, you know, like the old like, you know, big, I'm not gonna put a name, but you can use your imagination, like the big manufacturers that like always have done fucking, you know, like military contracts and shit, and did like sniper rifles. They would like, so SHOT back in the day, they used to fucking come around and make them cover up their posters and shit. So they would have to like put burqas on their fucking sexy, you know, HK posters. You know, their sexy Swamp Man HK posters. They'd have to fucking put a burqa right over that shit. And that was like the norm. You know what I mean? And it's really funny because it's more exemplary of like the issue. And it's not really, I don't even want to say it's like an industry issue because it's really more of like a human thing, right? It's like a sociological problem with people. But in the way that you see it in like the gun community is it's exemplary of that. Like, you know, when you're not getting, when Daddy Marks doesn't tell you like, hey, that's awesome, then the fucking, you know, the fucking group mind will be like anti-gun or like anti-black gun. And then when Daddy Mark says like, well, we're actually making some money off of that, then it's like, open the floodgates. Oh, take that shit off. Oh, put a fucking HK sex poster above that HK sex poster. You know what I mean? Which are, those HK posters are fantastic. I can't remember the dude that drew those, but he did good work. That was fucking great. Yeah. The fucking yeah. There's I mean, and there's it's weird now too because there's like you still have new gun guys getting in, you know, and then you still have the old fuds. They're still there. They haven't, you know, they're still with us, and you have the new gun guys and shit. And the new gun guys, you have a real problem with like LARPing, where it's like you get somebody that's, I mean, it's fine, like, you know, I mean, this is just real, you know, reality is on. You know, you can say whatever you want, but there's a real tendency you get like, because there's so much ego, like useless ego, and so guys will get in there into the industry, and they could have done anything else, and then they just, you know, they were pulled in, which is good, but then they'll like, you know, they'll get their SOT for the first time, and they'll learn all the loops of SOT, and they'll fucking like LARP like they're the fucking Encyclopedia Guntanica, and just like and it's really bad because once they learn all of the ATF regulations, which change pretty frequently, like they change, you know, like ATF like updates fees and shit, like the SOT fees now are fucking ridiculous, like, you know, compared to 10 years ago. And like people that just came in, they think that it's like always been like that, so they don't have perspective to understand that it's like a closing window, you know what I mean? They don't know that, so then they just like make the assumption that like this is how it always is, and so like everybody likes this, and then they kind of have this tendency to like they have this tendency to broadcast that to like anybody that they come into contact with, which is bad because then you get the new consumers, and then it just creates, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a snowball effect of like, you know, like shit's fine and all this, you know, everything is awesome Lego world, you know what I mean? And that's not the case, you know? Like everybody's sick of it. Everybody's always sick of it every single time that it changed, and it just keeps on changing. It's not gonna stop. You can't stop a moving train, you know, without dynamite. Yeah, but they used to censor the scary boosts that shot in the beginning, and I don't know. There's all kinds of crazy, like, I don't know what is the Type 10 at now. Like the Type 10 used to be like normal. Now they've squeezed it out, and it's like multiple thousands of dollars. I don't know what it is. $5,000? Is it $5K? Choo choo. Is it $5K for a Type 10 right now, or what's the SOT fee? I know that like your 07 and your 07 and your what the fuck is it? What's a non-manufacturer SOT? Those are like $1,000 right now, I think, right? They used to be fucking like $500. And then before that, they were even that. I think they used to be all 200, I think. Yeah, like when I first started, I think it was all Boog boys will die. Does the dude even know what the Boog is? Is an 07? Yeah, that's true. Piney Woods makes a good point. We do all die. All, you know, unless you're the Team America guy that promises to never die, we're all gonna, you know, have a little nap. Yeah, I'm gonna die for sure. Like, I'm like let's say that everything's gravy for the rest of my life. I'm not going, like, statistically, I won't live, like, the oldest I would live is to like probably the age of 60. So like, I'm going to die for sure. I hope that I don't die at 60. I hope I die in the America spiritual revolution. Why are you sad? Don't be sad. Yeah. Everybody dies. Everybody dies. You're only here while you need to be. It's not sad. It's not sad. It's a part of Heidegger said the only thing that you really truly do by yourself is die. And I agree with him halfway. I mean, I don't think you die by yourself, but in terms of people, like I do think like in terms of things that you do, like that you're going to do alone, I do think that like death, he is accurate in that way. And it's a necessary, you know, it's a necessary definitional part of this little trip here that we're all taking. Now, what's interesting is that if you painted a picture from the way that societies work, you would think that like, you know, like their prerogative is to like basically make people like never die. And I don't know. It's weird to think about, but if you think about it, if you like think of all the facets of society, like how much energy and money is dumped into like keeping people alive, you know, some places more efficiently than others. It's like you would be able to paint a picture out of that prerogative that would make you think that the philosophy was that people should never die. But I would argue that's of what's taking place. You know, I think we're looking at different things. Now, there are people who, you know, that you think of it. There are people that do see it that way. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Are we back? Are we fucking live? Interesting thing about life and death. You can, you know, like you can pretend like, you know, you can try to shoot somebody and you know, to kill them, and typically, you know, it appears to work that way, right? But it's like, you know, I saw a guy. There was this guy he pulled up around the corner. He was from out of town. They hadn't been there in a long time, like months or something. So there's like an OP on his like driving route. So he just like whipped around a corner and just came face to face with like a Brad within like detonation distance for a V-bit. So obviously like the Brad is just gonna zip the vehicle, right? So they coax it, and it happened like right when I was getting out to the to switch them out for OP shift. And so like they were like we were literally driving up, and then it just like watched it happen, and we're like, oh shit. And then so we went up there. The dude ended up living. So he took like the thigh, walked like, you know, because we had to operate assuming it was like a V-bit situation because we don't know what the fuck's going on. So like the Brad just like overwatched, and then we like got on loudspeaker, and then we like walked him out of the vehicle over to us with his hands up. And the dude could walk, you know, but we didn't know what was going on. Like, we didn't know that he was shot 8 times. We figured that out after he got there, and they're like, "Oh, you're amazing." You know, and he ended up being we medevaced him, and then he was fine. I mean, I'm sure he's not fine. That's a situation, you know, like where, you know, you would think that the human body is very resilient, or the human spirit is resilient, and likewise you can have something really minor take place that should be medically, you know, elementary to treat, and then a person could just die out of the blue, you know, or somebody could be perfectly healthy and just drop dead. And you know, it's like that's like life and death is something that is perfect. It's on and off. It's instant. It's like one, you know, there's like you could work your way out from the point of death and go like, this person's about to die. Their breathing is slowed. Their pulse is you know, is depressed. You could do all that, and then you could say on the other side of that, you could say this body is going through rigor mortis. Like this person's fucking dead for sure. Rigor mortis. They're going through decorticate posturing. This person's, you know, dead as a doornail, or going to be. But the moment, like the actual moment of death, is like, it's like a fucking, it's from another world, and it's divine, and it's a slice. It's like an instant slice that can't be analyzed or like found. It's just like you can see the point before, and you can see the point after. And it's the same way with birth, you know, with creation. Like when a life comes, and you can try to create life and it not work. You know, you can do everything that everybody else does and not be able to make life. And you can do everything to try to not make life and make life. And you can do everything to try to destroy new life, and it can still happen. Like there was a lady, I read a news article about a baby that got born outside of the uterus. You know what I mean? So like it was on a tube. The baby was like, you know, grew on the tube outside of the uterus and was birthed. And it's like, you know, successfully like lived and was delivered. And it's just, it's like an amazing thing. It's a perfect concept, and it's something that's not possessed here, you know? Like our bodies are here, but not those things. They're not here. They're not, there's nothing perfect in physicality, you know? It's just interesting. Yeah. Did the stream die now? Is it all fucked up? Yeah, I'm like on the back roads. I'm on the back roads driving around whining, whipping and dipping. Okay, all back. Somebody's talking about the Walmart shooting again. Let's see. What you said? You said... Yeah, that is interesting. He's talking about, he said that there's 23 people dead at Walmart, but only one magazine and photo. But he could have a mag in a pocket if he had two mags. You know, if he had a mag in his back pocket, you know. But what I think is more alarming about the mass shootings is just I think the timing of them is indicative of something suspicious, and I think what else? The timing and the people involved are suspicious, like on all sides, and it's very, you know, like people have all kinds of theories. People have all kinds of fucking theories, like, you know, MK Ultra, and you know, like what, like, I think that ideology would be like if you had a common thread. I think that like a very deep ideology is the only thing to motivate such an extreme behavior. You know, like to do acts like that. It's like there's, you know, or somebody going alone. You know, like some person just committing mass murder on their own, you know, selfish interest. I think that's like the only two possibilities. You either have to have some kind of really powerful and extreme deep belief, or you have to be, you know, not that great of a person. I mean, either way, but I gotta crack a window. It's too fucking hot. Yeah, it's a trip. I don't get it. What else? What else happened in the news? Anything else? Yeah, brown counts. Yeah. The Vegas shooting seemed kind of high to me, but he did shoot like a lot of fucking bullets. So that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, if you shoot that many bullets into a group of people, like, you're gonna be hitting targets. I did not cover Vegas. I haven't done anything with mass shootings at all, because if we were gonna do mass shootings, we would probably want to do like a two-part where we do like we would want to think about it differently than most people think. Like, most people think about it like the way that you would do mass shootings is to look at all the data that surrounds the mass shooting, and not actually look at the mass shooting, because everything going on with the mass shootings is like very protected. You wouldn't want to do that. What you would want to do is like do background tracing on every fucking person that's involved in it, like victims, perp, the investigation seniority of like whatever departments are involved, particularly independent executive agencies. Like, you would want to look at all that shit, and then you could, come up with some kind of conclusion about it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I will tell you this. What was ultra fishy about the fucking Vegas shooter were just that he was using completely contemporary like shot show guns. That was and they were just like laid out all over the fucking place. Like, I mean, there's only two possibilities. One would be that he was just like, or three possibilities, I guess. If it was like actually how the media says, dude just going fucking bananas and then shooting a bunch of people, then it would mean that, like, he just like laid out all of his guns like a spurt beforehand, just for fun. And then the other possibility is that he was showing guns to someone else for some reason. And then the other possibility is that, they're obviously laid out so that they're seen and identified and then targeted, like, so you can't fucking mistake, what the situation is. Like, these are AR-15s all over the fucking place, and they're all brand new, and like that's kind of the only three possibilities, really. You found his loadout suspicious. Yeah, I'd say so. You look like a fucking shot booth, if you want to call it a loadout. Okay, well, I gotta run. You guys have fun. Take care. I love you.